One of the top agents in the area started losing listings to agents he knew he was better than. Not because he forgot how to sell, not because the market changed, because he got comfortable.
Casualness leads to casualties.
He stopped practicing, stopped preparing before appointments, stopped sending pre-listing packages, started showing up casually. And then one day, he lost a listing while sitting at Sky Zone with his kids.
And when he calls me, I'm like, all right, he's going to freaking work with me. He calls me, hey, Jose, we decided to go in a different direction.
That phone call changed everything because the seller told him something brutal.
The other agent just came more prepared. It actually was a good thing.
Yeah, good.
It actually was a good thing.
I'm curious, do you think part of it too was like, you know, kind of like resting a little bit on like, you know, I'm kind of the man, you know what I mean? Like I do a lot of deals. I'm the number one agent. Like, was there a part of that where you're like, you know, like I just give a good presentation and like, you know, we'll see what shakes out?
I would say so because I sell more homes than anybody else. It's almost like I expected people just like bow down and be like, you know, like,
please take my listing. The reason that I can say that with confidence is because I remember there was a season in my real estate career where like you, just, you know, churning and burning, man. I did 200 deals a year twice. And then I went through like this period of like probably like 30, 45, 60 days where I went on a bunch of appointments and there were like 3 or 4 that I should have gotten. I didn't.
Same here, bro. And it humbled me. And
well,
the people I lost to, I was like, what?
It just caused me to stop for a second and be like, what am I doing? I had rested on, again, like my Laurels sort of thing, like just kind of assumed that I didn't need to close as hard. And I got angry. I think a lot of people find that interesting when I tell them that. But when I saw who had won and like whatever, and that I had missed out on these 4 opportunities that I should have got, I got angry. And then what I did is I started to notice what I was doing in prequal. I got lazy in prequal.
Yeah.
I wasn't using it as a mechanism to be assumptive and to close. And then that's when I started really dialing in with all my role play partners. And one specifically that I remember was Matthew. I was like, hey, bro, I want to just focus on for the next 60 days working on my prequal and closing, and that's it. Then very quickly, like what you're experiencing.
Same thing.
Focus, bam.
I don't know if I got angry, but I remember an instance, bro, where I felt empty. I remember I took my kids to Sky Zone and I walk away without pushing for a contract sign. And the guy calls me, he's like, and when he calls me, I'm like, all right, he's going to freaking work with me. He calls me, hey, Jose, we decided to go in a different direction. And I was just like, man, like, and I asked him for feedback and he's like, look, the other agent just came more prepared. And what I was even finding myself is as I was driving to the appointment, I was dealing with all the issues in the business. Like if there's a request for repairs or something like that, I was like, I'll kill 2 birds, 1 stone. So I was getting to these appointments, bro, like not even reviewing the prequal or not even reviewing the comps right before I walk into the appointment. So I was like, okay, I've got to make some changes as well too. So we started sending pre-listing packages via email, which we stopped. We started.
Dang, bro, you got away from sending pre-listing packages via email, bro. You got loosey goosey on us, team.
Some of these presentations that I was going on it was both. It was a cash or a seller side, and I didn't have a pre-list. I still don't have a pre-listing package for a cash versus a listing. So what I did is I just created an email template that says, hey, look, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Per our conversation, we're going to be going over both different options. We'll be going over the cash option. Here's a link to our cash buying company. We're going over the retail option. Here's a link to our company website. Here's a link to all of our reviews. Looking forward to connecting with you on blank, basically. And then when I got away from it on the cash versus listing, it spilled over to the regular listings, basically.
You know, it's interesting because me and Carla were talking about like, the like theme, you know, for like leadership retreat. And something that keeps popping up for me is that casualness leads to casualties. You can't be casual, bro. I can't be casual with my schedule. I can't be casual with my process. And I can't be casual with, you know, my presentation. I can't be casual with closing. There's no security in this business. There's only opportunities. The goal is to be prepared enough that when there is an opportunity with your skills and your process, that there's a very high degree of probability, like 80, 90% chance you'll be able to execute, then you've created security for yourself and your family. And particularly in an environment that we're in where there's just less deals, they're more difficult to come by, they're more difficult to put together. Like, am I casual with my role play? Am I casual with closing?
If you're not effective and efficient with your time, meaning like you're having to go back twice to get a contract signed, it makes it so much more work basically during that time. When I started going through this phase of getting soft, I basically started writing down on a document like the objections that I was getting, and these are the ones that I was getting. So the one of them was, I need to think about it.
Yeah.
And what I realized is that you need a minimum of 2 layers when you go on that one, because there's a chance after the first objection handler that they might still object, and you need a second layer to that. Unbeknownst to you, they'll say, hey, look, I really need to talk to X, Y, and Z person. And it never came up in the prequel. So like, hey, look, like, I have an uncle that I really trust. I like to talk to him about it, basically, which that's a little bit different than I need to think about it. That's a different way of handling that as well, too. The other one that I'm getting is where I'm interviewing other agents, basically. And then there's another one that's like, hey, look, I'm waiting for X to happen. I had one where he was like, look, like, I have to wait for a bankruptcy to be discharged. So it's like something I'm waiting on this to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like a condition versus an objection sort of thing.
Yeah. But you can work through it. It's like basically you can basically So
it's an objection of something that they're waiting on. So it's not necessarily a condition. There's not an endless amount or number of these objections. They're all variations of kind of the same 2 to 3 things. You have to just be A, prepared for them, but also B, have 1 to 2 ways of handling it, right? And get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So once you start to get into the closing sequence, this is where I may need to politely confront people, where I have to be very straightforward and do it in a polite and professional manner.
So the moment you hit the door, you get there 15 minutes early. Why? If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If you're late, don't even bother coming. What are you communicating to somebody when you're late? My time is worth more than, which is Got it. But I want you to pay me 10, 15,000 bucks. Yay? And I would use that time in the car. I'd write down their name. How many people went and sat on the couch and you were all worked up in presentation? You're like, oh my God, I forgot their name.